Welcome back to another episode of M&A Access. My name is Ekaterina, and today we are in Chicago here for the summer conference, and joining me, Himanshu Chaudhry. Did I pronounce this correctly? Please tell me that I did.
You did. Yes, that's right.
Perfect. Okay, so let's start with your background first. Tell me a little bit about your role at PKF O'Connor Davies, and how did you end up there?
Yeah, so at PKF O'Connor Davies, I am a managing director there, and I am a part of ESOP advisory group. So one of the unique things about us as a CPA firm, not a lot of CPA firms have a ESOP advisory practice, and I believe this gives us an edge because not only we can implement an ESOP for our own clients, but we can do that for other CPA firms as well. So I'm part of a ESOP advisory practice there, and I have been doing the ESOP advisory work for last 5 years. Have been with PKF O'Connor Davies for last 1 year, and you would ask me, why did you make a move to PKF? The reason was you can structure the ESOP in number of different ways, and one of the best ways to structure the ESOP is through the Roth option. And my business partner, John, he does that. So he has an ESOP with the Roth feature. And when I learned about it in last 5 years, it was very eye-opening, very intriguing. And that's why I was like, I need to do this. And that's how it happened. And now I work with John at PKF O'Connor Davies, and we design the ESOPs with a Roth feature.
Mm-hmm. For those who don't know what ESOP is, can you explain it in simple terms?
Absolutely. If you ask me what's an ESOP, I would say ESOP, Employee Stock Ownership Plan, is a blueprint of success for the companies. And why I say that, because it creates a winning culture within the company. So it's a win-win-win situation for the business owner or the seller and the company and the employees. So everybody wins with an ESOP. Why I say that? For 3 reasons. Number 1, ESOP creates a liquidity event for the business owner, and they have an opportunity of creating generational wealth out of an ESOP. So that's for the business owner or the seller. Number 2, the company can become totally tax-free. So in 1990s, Congress allowed for S-Corp election for the ESOPs. And once you become an S-Corp ESOP, you don't pay any federal taxes. And most of the states forgive the state taxes as well. Mm-hmm. So you become a totally tax-free company. So that's for the company. Finally, number 3, what's there for the employees? The employees are more engaged because they are receiving a free retirement benefit. So it's unlike 401k, where the employees have to contribute and then the employer matches. In an ESOP, the employees don't have to put a dime of their money. They are just receiving a free retirement benefit. So for all these 3 reasons, ESOP is a win-win-win situation for the company. So that's why I call it as a blueprint of success for the company.
Mm-hmm. And why are ESOPs such an important topic in the M&A world right now?
Right now, well, it has been like that for last few years. We all have been talking about the silver tsunami. A lot of business owners are looking to retire. And the thing is, there are about 3 million privately owned businesses in the country, and 70 to 75% of them, they have not thought through the succession or exit plan. So they don't have a strategy. So that's where all the M&A advisors, we have a big opportunity. So that's where ESOPs are getting talked about a lot as well.
And what makes an ESOP attractive to a founder or family-owned business owner?
So, as I said, ESOP industry has been evolving. And one of the misconceptions around ESOP was that ESOP does not pay fair market value. When you compare the ESOP with other options like private equity or a strategic sale, there was an argument that ESOP does not pay as well as other options, which is not true at all. You put a Roth feature in the ESOP, the business owners can create generational wealth out of it. So, and the other thing is, if you have a family-run business, you can have the next generation run the business and have shares inside the ESOP as well. So it's better from a tax planning perspective because when you transfer wealth to the next generation, you do not pay any gift and estate taxes because of the ESOP. So there are so many benefits with an ESOP.
And in what situations can an ESOP compete well against traditional M&A buyers?
Well, when you look at the comparison between private equity and an ESOP, both use the same valuation methodologies and the same premise of value. It's fair market value. And ESOP is an arm's length transaction, and the company has to be sold at fair market value. So the multiples that you get with a private equity or a ESOP sale is very similar. Now, selling to a strategic buyer can be different because strategic buyer, based on the synergies, they can pay anything. They can pay a big premium based on how they are looking at the company and the synergies. So that's a different angle. But when you compare the ESOP with the private equity, it's the similar premise of value, which is fair market value.
Can you share your favorite success story of an ESOP process?
Yes, I mean...
you don't have to name any names, by the way, too, if you don't want to.
Well, there are hundreds of stories in the ESOP community. The ESOP community has about 6,500 ESOP-owned companies, and Publix is the biggest ESOP-owned company in the country. They have a big footprint in Southeast. They are doing pretty well. Everybody is getting the shares of the company, and everybody is working towards their retirement with an ESOP. So the main thing is when the business owner is looking for a transition, what ESOP does is it creates some sort of a philanthropic plan as well within the company, because all the employees start to receive shares of the company. If the company did not do an ESOP, sold to a private equity, I mean, leave alone the retirement benefit, some of the employees may end up losing their job as well. So that's where ESOP is very different. Not only it preserves the legacy of the company and the business owner, but it creates a retirement benefit for all the employees. So any business owner who in their heart they want good for their employees, ESOP is a great strategy. And secondly, as I said, with the ESOP Roth, they can make a lot of money as well.
What makes a company a strong ESOP candidate?
So that's a great question, and you are right. ESOP is a great fit for most of the companies, but it's not a strategy for all of the companies. It's not like one size fits all, right? So the companies that do not have predictable cash flows or sustainable cash flows, they have variability, not a good management team. So those are some of the challenges where ESOP might not be a great fit.
What about the opposite? What are some, strong fits?
So the company that has sustainable cash flows, the company has good growth plans. The company is projected to grow. The management team is strong, and the employees care about the company. That can become a very good ESOP-owned company.
And you mentioned a little bit about red flags. Are there any more red flags that can make an ESOP difficult?
Yes, I mean ESOP can become challenging for small companies. So that's why we try to stay away from very small companies. The company has to be a certain size for an ESOP to make sense.
So what size?
So the company that is making at least $3 million in EBITDA and has about at least 15 employees, the ESOP can be a good option. Again, the company has to be growing. The cash flows should be sustainable, not variable. Management team should be strong. So in those scenarios, the ESOP can work.
And speaking of cash, how are ESOP transactions typically financed?
Great question. So ESOP transactions can be financed through a number of ways. So one is bank financing. So generally, if you see, most of the banks have a ESOP lending division, and a lot of those are happy to lend somewhere between 2 to 3 times of EBITDA. Okay, and in the current scenario, they are probably going to charge about 6.5% interest rate, somewhere between 6 to 7%. So that's one part of it, and for the rest, the seller takes a seller note. Okay, which essentially means the seller is acting as their own bank. However, if you tell me that there is a seller and they just want to exit 100% at the time of the transaction, that can be accommodated, but it can be a little expensive. The source of financing could be expensive because right now I just did senior loan with the bank, 6 to 7%, but then I have to look into mezzanine financing, so a little bit expensive sources of financing. But can we accommodate 100% exit at the time of sale? Absolutely.
Where do ESOP deals usually break down?
You mean ESOPs by industry, or you have a different question?
By industry.
Okay. So if you look at the spread by industry for the ESOP transactions, so we see a lot of transactions in the construction manufacturing space. So a lot of blue collar companies go through the ESOP transactions, and there are a couple of challenges with those companies. Private equity stays away from them. So the construction companies, the thing is, they have to bid for projects every year. So the cash flow is not as predictable as any other industry. However, if you talk about culture and everything, they are well suited for an ESOP. So some of these factors make construction manufacturing companies a good candidate for ESOPs. So if you look at the spread, almost 50-60% of the transactions are in construction, manufacturing, architecture, engineering space. However, you can do an ESOP for any industry, any company, as long as the positive traits that we talked about, if you check those boxes, sustainable cash flows, good management team, good growth prospects, ESOP can be a very viable option.
Let's get a little technical now. What is 1042 rollover, and why does it matter in ESOP?
So 1042 rollover is very similar to 1031 exchange for real estate. So the basic idea is, with a 1042 election, the seller or the business owner, when they exit, they are not paying any capital gains taxes on the sale proceed. So they are able to defer the capital gains taxes indefinitely. And how do they do that? So they have to invest in QRP, qualified replacement property, And a lot of major banks like Wells Fargo, Citibank, Morgan Stanley, they offer 1042 QRP, and generally they ask for like 10% margin money, 10 to 15% margin money to be put in that portfolio, and the rest is funded by the bank. So as long as you are invested in that, you don't pay any capital gains taxes. And the thing is, once the seller passes away, the legal heirs, they get a step up in the tax basis.
Okay, so let's imagine I am a business owner and I have at least, you said 15 employees, so let's say I have 16 and I make $4 million, right, in EBITDA.
Profits, EBITDA.
Yes, yes. So walk me through the ESOP process, step by step, for someone who has no idea what they're getting into, how long it's going to take, and overall process.
So the overall process can take somewhere between 4 to 6 months. Depending on the industry. Now, if we are working with a law firm or an accounting firm or a doctor practice, the process can be a little longer because those transactions are slightly more complex. So that can be 6 to 8 months. But in general, the process is 4 to 6 months. And once we start the process, there is phase 1. And phase 1 is feasibility study. And then the phase 2 is the implementation phase. So when I go in and start working with the company and I put together a feasibility study for them, it's a process of 6 to 8 weeks. And in those 6 to 8 weeks, we understand the objectives of the business owner. We deep dive into the financials of the company. And based on that, I prepare a feasibility study, which could be a 70 to 100 page document. And what it entails is primarily 3 things. One is the range of valuation. So I will give them a range of valuation that this is the range of value where you can sell the company to the ESOP trustee. Okay? So that's number 1. Number 2 is, let's say the business owner tells me that they want to stay with the business for next 10 years. So I'm going to prepare a schedule of shareholder cash flows that in next 10 years, how their cash flows are going to look like. And then finally, what's there for the employees. So if the business owner tells me that the average salary at their company for an employee is $75,000. So I'm going to show them a chart that an employee making $75,000 at the company, what's their ESOP retirement account balance is going to look like in 5-10 years from now. So that's what the feasibility study is all about. And obviously we show them different structures as well. If you put a Roth feature in the ESOP plan, this is how it's going to look like. If you do it with a 1042 transaction, this is how it's going to look like. So they make a comparison, and then based on that, they tell us to move forward or not. So when they give us the marching orders, then we bring in different parties. So there has to be an ERISA attorney on the company side. So the ERISA attorney puts together all the transaction documents like purchase agreement, seller note, etc. And also they help the company with the restructuring. So any transaction you go through, there has to be some sort of restructuring. So the ERISA attorney on the company side help with that. So that's the company side pretty much. On the other side, we need to negotiate the transaction, right? So we need a trustee. So the trustee negotiates the transaction with the company or the business owner. So trustee is somebody who does this for a living, and they are a fiduciary. So they have a fiduciary duty towards the plan. In a way, they are representing all the employees. So there is a robust negotiation process between the business owner and the trustee before we arrive at the final purchase price. Uh, then the trustee, they don't have to be a valuation or a legal expert, so they hire their own valuation advisor and a legal advisor. The role of the valuation advisor is to write the fairness opinion on the transaction. So essentially, they need to make sure that the company did not pay more than the fair market value to the business owner. So they do the same thing, the range of value, like I did for the company when I did the feasibility study. In their fairness opinion, they conclude on a few things, that there was fair market value, the business owners were not paid more than the fair market value, the seller note, etc. were at market, all of that. So that's the fairness opinion from the valuation advisor. Now the legal advisor, they have to review all the documents put together by the ERISA attorney on the company side. So that's the full cycle of the transaction. So it takes somewhere between 4 to 6 months. And finally, once you are close to the transaction execution, then you hire a TPA, third-party administrator as well. So the third-party administrator, they just administer the plan. So Principal, Blue Ridge, these are some of the big names in the TPA industry.
So going back to business owners, what is the most annoying mistake every business owner makes during the ESOP process?
Well, so ESOP is a friendly transaction. However, there are a lot of rules and regulations around ESOP. The same ERISA rules that applies to the 401k plan apply to the ESOP as well. So when we go through the transaction, sometimes business owners fail to understand that they are negotiating the transaction with the trustee, and the trustee has a fiduciary responsibility, and they have a risk in the transaction as well, because the rules say that the ESOP cannot pay more than fair market value. But in owner's mind, it could be that, okay, this is my business, I am selling it, so why the trustee has a problem if I want a certain number? Well, they don't have a problem. As long as that number is within the fair market value range, it shouldn't be an issue. But obviously, we have to go through the negotiation process. So that's one of the challenges that we see sometimes. Other than that, I mean, ESOP is a sophisticated plan. So sometimes when I start talking to a business owner, it takes probably 7 to 10 meetings to help them understand the ESOP transaction, the process, the benefits, etc. And then they move forward.
It's a big process.
It is. I mean, it's like any other third-party transaction. In this case, you don't have a third party, but you still have to follow the rules and regulations, and you are selling the company to an ESOP trust.
Can you share an example of a business owner who was surprised by what an ESOP could offer?
Yes, I mean, every time there is a light bulb that goes on when I talk about so many benefits that come with an ESOP. So I'll give you an example. I was talking to one business owner last year in October, and not only that, I walked them through the benefits that it creates for the employees and the company. I told them about the ESOP Roth and how the ESOP Roth can create generational wealth for them. So the business owner three of them, all in their 60s. They said, "Wow, this is great. We are gonna move forward with that. We wish that we talked to you 5 years ago." So that was their reaction, that they should have actually implemented the ESOP 5 years back.
Wow. And what is one thing that can look small early in ESOP process but becomes a major issue later?
Yeah, so I mean, as I said, ESOP has a lot of rules and regulations. So one of the things is the ESOP owned company has to be valued every year. So you have to be careful who your valuation advisor is, because you don't want to ever overvalue the company, because what happens is if you overvalue the company, you are essentially creating repurchase obligations, which could be huge. So that's why you have to be careful that you use the fair market value rules, and the company is valued at fair market value.
Mm-hmm. In your opinion, what is one thing a business owner should ask themselves before stepping into ESOP process?
So before stepping into the ESOP process, as I said, I mean, learning is a big key for an ESOP transaction. So there are several meetings that needs to happen between the business owner and the ESOP advisor. So the business owner should understand the process in detail, because I mean, if you don't follow the rules and regulations, I mean, there can be lawsuits as well. So that's why the business owner has to understand each and everything. Simultaneously with the transaction close, the ESOP owned company has to buy direct and an officer insurance. There has to be a fiduciary insurance in place as well. So there are a number of things, and that's why you need to work with a good ESOP advisor who can guide you through all the pros and cons of an ESOP.
Mm-hmm. Like you.
Exactly. Thank you.
And what advice would you give to an owner who is curious about ESOP but worried the process is too long or too complex?
Well, as I said, the process is similar to any other kind of sale. When you sell to the third party, that can still be a 6 months process or could be longer. So I haven't really seen a process where you are able to sell the company in like 2 months to a third party. So there is a lot of due diligence that goes into it. So yes, I mean, it's a process, and you have to make sure that you are following all the rules and regulations around it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And where do you think ESOPs are headed in the middle market MA landscape?
We are projected for significant growth. So if you look at the current M&A environment, there are so many business owners looking to retire. As I mentioned earlier, there are about 3 million businesses in the country. 70 to 75% have no plans. And ESOP becomes a very viable option for the business owners to transition through. And the reason is ESOP comes with significant tax benefits. It creates a company where the employees are more engaged, and some businesses even use this as a retention tool as well, because now employees are getting another retirement benefit which is free of cost to them, doesn't cost them a dime of their money, and they contribute even better for the company because now they have skin in the game. And finally, as I mentioned, it's an opportunity for the business owner to create generational wealth.
Mm-hmm. And what do you wish more owners understood about, employee ownership?
I think employee ownership is underexplored. So the ESOP is underexplored, Uh, the ESOPs were formalized with rules and regulations more than 50 years ago. ESOP is one of those creative succession plan in the country that Congress came up with, but unfortunately it's underexplored. It has to gain momentum, and I think it's gaining momentum now. We are seeing lots more companies going through the ESOP route. ESOPs are bipartisan, so the Republicans like it because of the wealth creation and tax advantages. The Democrats like it because of the benefit that it creates for the employees, the retirement benefit. So I think we all should be rooting for the ESOP, the employee ownership. Congress gives so many tax benefits because they want to see more employee ownership in the country.
Mm-hmm. And for those who want to get in touch with you and learn more about ESOP, where can they find you and learn more about the company you work for?
Yeah, so I work for PKF O'Connor Davies, as I mentioned. So you can always look me up on our website. I will share my contact details with you so that you can share that with your viewers.
Perfect. Well, Himanshu, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name again. Thank you so much for visiting me today. I hope you enjoyed the conference. We are just starting. It's day one.
Yeah.
And yeah, enjoy Chicago too. It's a beautiful city.
Yes, I have been to Chicago a few times before.
Yeah.
And I absolutely love the city.
Me too. It's my first time here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, then I can make some suggestions for you.
Yes, please. I would love to. And thank you so much for listening to our episode. Until next time, stay tuned.
These kinds of conversations are happening all the time. We'd love for you to join in, whether it's through our monthly webinars, our biannual conferences, or our SEMA certification, and then we have our chapter events across the nation all year round. You can find out more at amaonline.com. Until then, see you next time.